welcome to this show. we don't have a name. Well, we do have a name. The name is probably still there on all our branding, but now I feel self-conscious about saying it. Now that everyone has decided that it is not a funny name, it is not a good name. We're in the process of changing it. We have a few names that we're working through, trying to decide
we have a poll.
on.
To be fair, some people like it. 27% of our Patreon audience seems to tell us that we should keep the name, cowards. Yeah. And another 46% likes podcaster V Predator. And then we have a Seat podcast. And today, as of this recording, OpenAI dropped their new text AI, which I asked for some recommendations because that's how desperate we are now. I'm asking chatbots for recommendations.
Well, they're good. They're creative.
They were okay, and some of the recommendations was criminally funny, criminally stupid, the pedo patrol, which I like, laughing at lawbreakers, the criminally absurd, the pedo slammers. Yeah, some of these are good, some of these are not.
With our name currently being Podophiles, I kind of want to avoid putting predator or pedophile or podophile or anything with that direct name in the show title. I want to come up with something different.
Me as well. It's not even the listener feedback. It's so much as, okay, I'm going to put myself in the shoes of a future Kaya. Like, how do I email a potential advertiser saying, hey, you guys want to advertise on Podophiles?
Wait, wasn't there a fucking company called Podophiles at some point or something similar to that? Like a podcasting app or something? I feel like there was. What the fuck? Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, you're right. It's like more from, like, we find it funny. We find the name funny. I'm going to come straight out. Podophiles is a funny name for a show about this kind of thing. That's how we feel. But like bringing new people into the show or new audience members into the show, I can definitely see how that's like an off-putting name that you would have to then recommend to people. Like, hey, you should watch my favorite show, Podophiles. You get a few weird looks.
You don't want a name where every single time it is recommended to somebody, they have to attach like an asterisk to it saying, "Oh no, they're against pedophiles."
Yeah, they're not the pedophiles. They're talking about pedophiles.
If you have to add a caveat every single time afterwards, it's probably bad.
Yeah, but I feel like I need to do a bit of asterisk asking right now. Pedophiles means that we are people that really like talking about pedophiles. And specifically To Catch a Predator, pedophiles, because they didn't like.
There's just so many. That's the one like criticism that I didn't like and I disagree with is why are you guys so obsessed with pedophiles? Why do you keep talking about them? It's like, bro, if you don't want us to keep talking about it, stop molesting kids. It's like you can't go 1 week without a YouTuber getting caught grooming people on Discord. We're not the ones putting this out there in the world, but someone has to make fun of them, and it is low-hanging fruit. I agree, but hey, still tastes sweet.
I agree that I don't want to talk about like actually depressing cases, like stuff that makes me sad. And there are many cases out there, especially with this subject material where that is the case, where it's just very depressing. We're not going to touch that. That's why like To Catch a Predator is like the perfect subject material for this, because there were no direct victims to speak of. They were caught in the process of, meeting up with a decoy. So it's kind of nice in that way. There's no victim other than the predator's pride or ego or anything like that. So it's nice that we get to laugh at them and not feel bad about any kind of victim per se.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings me on to the subject of this particular episode. We're talking about the second predator that showed up in To Catch a Predator. This was still in the Bethpage, New York sting. Back in about 2003, 2004. This guy's name was Me for Magic New York. And that was his username. His name is Musty. I don't know if that's like a fake name that he gave or if that's his genuine name, but this is Musty.
I would assume that it's pronounced Musti because he's definitely not like he's definitely not like a Native American born because his English is so bad. So I assume he's like, it's a normal name in his culture.
So we're going to talk about his appearance and stuff. We talked about the last Predator's appearance a little bit in last week's episode. You can go below, because this is an audio podcast. You don't directly see him while you're listening to this, but you can go below in the show description. I've got links down there to pictures of him, his chat log, as well as his appearance on the show. All of that kind of stuff is below for you to click on so that you can see what this man looks like, or looked like back in 2003 anyway. You had a pretty apt comparison of Mutzi.
Yeah, I told you he looks so as a listener, simply imagine Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad, which is mean to say because Skinny Pete is a nice person in the show. Like, he's a solid homie to Jesse. But this guy looks exactly like him.
Well, yeah, he was acting. When he wasn't acting, he was going out molesting kids, apparently. He does look exactly like him.
And like Jackson said,
it looks exactly like him. And this was before Breaking Bad.
Jackson said he looks like a magician. And I was like, what magicians have you been watching? Like the kind that makes meth disappear? The guy is all wiry. He seems to be bald. Oh no, never mind. He's wearing like a beanie. He's wearing a beanie. He's very skinny and wiry, very pale white. And he just looks like he's been malnourished due to his meth addiction. And that is Mutzi.
Yeah, he does. He absolutely looks like he's addicted to some kind of substance.
Yeah, he's addicted to children.
But that too, yeah. Well, a substance other than children, like crack, basically, or something like that. Heroin, anything. He could be addicted to it. He's got a goatee, pretty sharp, angular face, probably from the crack, probably from not eating much.
Sunken in cheeks, yeah, everything. He's allegedly a carpenter, or was at least.
That's yeah. In the chat log, he says that he's a carpenter. That could be a lie, trying to impress a 13-year-old girl with his illustrious career.
Is that what you tell little children? Because I would imagine they go with like, I'm a boy band member.
Well, Jesus was a carpenter.
Yeah, but Jesus wasn't like braggadocious, and to my knowledge, he wasn't also chatting up with children.
Yeah. So Mutzi, is that how you do it? I can't pronounce foreign names very well.
You're doing it right.
Mutzi. Mm-hmm. Mutzi is he's 26, and the girl that he was chatting up in this decoy operation performed through Perverted Justice, she says she's 13. So he's twice her age at that point. Mm-hmm. And he's what is described as a fast mover. We might go ahead and read some chat log right now before we get to the appearance on the show. So yeah, he's described as what is known as a fast mover. So someone who is just straight to the action, just someone that gets straight into it.
You also skipped over his notorious sliminess rating, which is a 4.65 out of 5, by the way. So
you know what? I think that's about the same as last week.
I think
so
it's
he's about on the same level as last week. Is it?
Wasn't last week like 4.2 or something like that? I think this guy's slimier.
Well, we'll decide that at the end. Let's give our own sliminess rating at the end. We can tier list the predators.
Vote for your favorite predator.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, he's a fast mover. He immediately starts the conversation with the decoy by sending a picture of his cock through his underpants. So like the outline of his penis through his underwear. So that's how he starts conversations. That's how he starts every conversation, I guess. So no age was discussed before he sent this at all. And his first message was, "Do you like me?" Which is so sad. That's possibly the saddest first message you could say. You couldn't come off as more desperate.
And again, like you said, the girl had not yet disclosed her age, but I assume that on these decoy accounts that Perverted Justice ran, they have the age in the bio somewhere on their accounts.
Perhaps? Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he had to have read that beforehand.
Something tells me that he just goes for children. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
But probably not all women. Somehow I doubt that he would be messaging his dick to a 60-year-old lady. But
yeah,
he messages her his dick, and she says ASL, which for you youngins means age, sex, location. It's what we old folk on the internet in the before times in a galaxy far, far away.
Well, I'm 10 years younger than you, basically, and I know that. Like, ASL was big back when I was on.
It was
IRC
huge,
chat rooms and such.
Classic opening line. And he says, 26M, New York, you. And Danny replies, 13F, Long Island. And she says, that's bag.
That's the decoy. Yeah. Yeah, she immediately well, not immediately, but she compliments his penis, which is just, that's a nice thing to do. I don't know if she meant it or not. It's just, she's fluffing him up at this point.
Yeah, it's just whatever sweaty 40-year-old man was pretending to be Danny. at the other end of the computer.
And then Mutzi replies saying, yes, you want to see it? So he's getting right into it. He knows what he wants to do. He doesn't mess around. He gets right into the action.
Mm-hmm.
There's no kind of foreplay here. He just wants to show his cock and be done with it. Okay, so to continue on a bit later in the chat log, he does get a bit self-conscious. So we're digging deep into the character of Mutzi here, and he does get a little bit self-conscious, interestingly enough. He starts this element of the conversation by saying, which part is best on your body? So he wants to know more about Danny, the decoy.
Yeah.
And she says, I don't know, lol. And then Mutzi gets very forward here, and he says, tell me. And she says, I'm kind of small. And so he makes an assumption here. He says, boobs, small too. I don't know why they all turn into cavemen as soon as like any kind of sex is announced.
None of them can spell, bro. They're all so stupid. None of these people could like pass a simple 4th grade math exam, let alone grammar. This isn't even like him being a foreigner or anything. I'm a foreigner. I speak English decently, at least I'd like to think. Like, this is caveman brain. This is him with his dick in his hand.
Yeah, it really
already
is.
Like addling an already stunted brain. And the girl the perverted justice decoy, also stunting.
We'll just call her the girl.
Yeah, okay, let's call her the girl. She's also pretending to not be able to spell anything. So she says, yeah, they're small. And
then he continues.
Mutzi says ass, and she says small too, lol. And Mutzi says pussy. Danny says, it's small too, lol.
What the fuck kind of question is that? Do you have a small pussy?
You would be surprised. This is actually a thing from my like conversations I've had with incels. They actually somehow for some reason do care about like the vaginal depth of women. And for some reason, they also think that women know their own vaginal depth. Like, this is male brain.
Like, measure it with a ruler?
I think this is a case of male brain. Like, you know how every man on Earth knows the exact proportions of his dick because we all measure them? And they assume that women do the exact same thing. And that they have some sort of a pissing contest where women are like, well, your pussy isn't deeper than mine, bitch. Mine is way bigger and deeper.
I doubt it's that. I doubt it's that specific reason, but it definitely comes down to male brain. I bet it's like they just want to visualize every aspect of this vagina in their head. They need to know every single detail, including the depth and circumference. So that's why they focus on the details, the small things.
Plus, they need to brag, like, oh, will you be able to fit me? I don't know, I'm pretty big. Like, bro, babies come out of there. Like, you're not gonna impress any woman. Relax, it'll be fine. He replies to her, by the way, after she says it's small too, my pussy. He says, you don't like my dick?
Sad face. Yeah, it's all sad. See, he immediately gets self-conscious. That comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, because she isn't horny enough.
Why aren't you talking about my penis? Yeah, why aren't you talking about my penis? Talk about my penis and how much you like it and how big it is. It's so sad. Oh, what a pathetic human being.
Well, that's the thing. Again, these guys expect a porn star on the other end of the computer, right? It's like every single time they ask these questions like, how deep is your pussy? How big are your tits? Have you ever done a gangbang? How many dicks have you sucked? They expect the girl to reply like you would see those interviews in the Playboy magazines of the days yonder. Like, no, this is a little child and the person is pretending to be a child and this is how children talk. They have no idea what you're talking about.
But even if we disregard children, like that, I think men still do this with all women. As soon as there's like a sexual encounter or sexual texting or anything like that, they immediately go to like hardcore shit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like even like 20-year-olds.
Including the dick pic. I was actually having a discussion with someone earlier today. It's like nobody likes dick pics. No one, not even women. No, the straightest woman on earth does not like dick pics.
Not even women. Men like dick pics way more than women. Women are the least, like they like it the least out of anyone on the.
That's true.
Like that's the
because you guys don't know how to take dick pics. Like this, that is the unanimous opinion I've heard and read from any woman ever. Is men don't know how to take dick pics. All you do is you whip out your dick and you frame it to fill the frame of the photo, and it is overexposed. It is the flash is bouncing off of your dick.
Scary.
It looks disgusting. It looks all gungy and gross. I can see all the wrinkles on your foreskin. This is gross. If you're gonna take like nudies, at least make it somewhat artsy, where I can see your forearms and your shoulders and your pecs or something, not just a photo of your fucking ball sack. That's like if a girl sent you nude photos and it was just a close-up of her labia. Like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this?
I mean, guys are way more visual, Kai. Guys love that, regardless.
Yeah, that's true. But for women, this is a turnoff, and I would imagine this guy. Of course, these guys don't know that.
You could show a guy like what are those cameras called where they insert them into like orifices? You could show them like an internal view of a vagina and say, "This is my vagina. This is the inside of my vagina," and guys would love it. Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Regardless,
like just a knowing. Colonoscopy camera. I also don't know what they're called, but absolutely.
The snake cams. I believe they use them to look under doors during police raids as well. I think that's the same
thing. Isn't that a whole genre where like women they'll like deep throat a dildo with a camera in it, and it just goes down her throat, and you can see the inside of her esophagus, and it's like entire subreddits exist for this. I don't know. Like, I mean, you want to fuck her throat, I get it, fine, but why do you want to see the insides of it?
Yeah, but you don't want to see it. Put a little GoPro camera on your cock.
Let's see. It continues. On the phone, Mutzi wastes no time, wants to know if I'm going to blow him, and if he takes my virginity. I tell him we can talk online again. Mom might hear. And
so he wants...
Yeah.
So they talk on the phone. The decoys... Perverted Justice usually does this so that they can gather more evidence. Like they've got the voice of the guy, and it kind of softens the perpetrator, Mutzi, up a little bit when they do this, because then Mutzi thinks that it's an actual, like, it's a real person. So they become a little less shy, even though Mutzi wasn't shy at all. But that's usually the tactic with other ones as well. Like, you want to get more evidence, gather more evidence, and...
Yeah, you give them a taste. You throw out the lure with like a cartoon with a dollar bill at the end of a fishing rod, and then you slowly reel it in until they follow you into the dark alleyway, where then you pounce.
But that's not, again, this isn't entrapment. I see this comment a lot. People saying this is like entrapment. It's not. It's just giving them the option to commit an offense. This isn't the same as entrapment.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Would you like to read the comments about coming on the camera? Or the chat log, I mean?
Yes. So yeah, Mutzi he's a performative man. So he starts off this segment by saying, "It's going to be difficult for you." I'm assuming this is talking about sex at this point. Danny, the girl, replies, "Yeah, it might hurt, huh?" And then he says, "Yeah." But then he continues on by saying, "You want me to come on the camera?" So he feigned a little bit of like concern. I wouldn't say concern. He's like, "Yeah, okay, shut up, bitch. You want me to come on the camera now? I'll do it. I'll come."
This is such a male brain. And like,
it is like
no woman wants to see you come on a camera. Like the substance of cum in and of itself is not attractive to any woman. Once again, that's like a male thing for. You know how men film themselves coming on like action figures or anime figurines or whatever the fuck they're called?
Yeah, tributes.
Yeah, like tributes, exactly. It's like, no, nobody wants to see this except you, other men. Okay, that's where the chat log cuts off. But then we have another segment called Mutzi is good at risk assessments. So Mutzi says, "Okay, where are we gonna meet tomorrow?" Danny says, "My house?" ? Mutzi says, "No." She says, "Mom's working."
No.
He says, "No." Again.
No.
It's dangerous.
A lot can be said about Mutzi so far, but he knows when danger's around. You don't want to go straight to Mum's house. He's good at risk assessment.
Yeah, I wonder if he's gotten beat up by someone's dad before, because this was still around the time where like To Catch a Predator was not that prevalent. It was still taking off. It hadn't been heard of that much before, to my knowledge.
Well, this was the very first thing, so it wouldn't have been known at all.
Yeah, exactly. So I wonder if he had any other run-ins with angry parents, or if other pedophiles warned him. Like, this is what a police sting looks like, buddy. Don't fall for it. I fell for it. Don't do it.
I'm assuming that police stings were more common after To Catch a Predator, because To Catch a Predator brought it into the the mainstream awareness. Like when you think about pedophiles before before To Catch a Predator, I'm assuming most people thought of the guy in the van. You know?
Yeah.
The guy that kidnaps your kid on the street. Not someone who's
this was also
chatting them up online.
This was still in the days where everybody was like, what the fuck is the internet? You know, they didn't really expect pedophiles to be in the internet, and every parent was like, wait, this happens on the computer? Like somebody can molest my child on the computer? What the fuck? I thought I just had to watch them on the playground and it would be fine. What do you mean just grown men can chat with my children? Uh-oh. And
the internet made it possible for pedophiles to be in your home, essentially, at all hours of the day.
They're omnipresent, like a perverted god, like Satan. Would you like to read the next segment? Yeah,
so this segment, because I cut off these chat logs into the little bite-sized things that are the most interesting, I suppose. The things that spoke most to Musti's character, essentially. And this segment I called Musti Has Competition. So he starts off this by saying, "Did you play dick before?" I don't know what that means.
Like an instrument?
Yeah,
I played dick professionally in a band for 5 years. We never took off, but...
Yeah, I'm a dick auteur.
I soloed that dick.
The decoy replies, "Yeah." And then he replies, "What did you do?" She said, "I licked it." And then he replies, "How old is he?" And then she replied, "He was 18. And then, the decoy replies, "He was 18. Musti replies, "It was big, his dick." Why do they want to know? Why would you ever, in just a normal relationship, why would you ever ask if, the exes or the previous partners?
But it's not big? A normal relationship. This seems to be a
common thing.
This is just sexting, which... That part isn't as weird. It is definitely weird when dudes do this in relationships with girls that they're actually dating. I'm not talking to just pedophiles, just normal people. Whenever a woman has ever mentioned her ex to me, I was like, I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. I'm not a cuck. I don't want to listen to how other men used to rail you. Why the fuck would I ever want to know this? Hide this information from me.
Oh, it's you've got a past. That's fine. You know, so do I. That's fine. Let's never talk about it. let's leave it locked away.
I don't want to know the details. You want to shit talk him? Fine. That I'm okay with. But I don't want to hear anything else. I don't want to know about your sexual experiences.
Even if she was like, "Hey, your dick's so much bigger," then I'm thinking about his dick. I don't want to think about his dick, dude.
Yeah, that's also fair. I don't want to know about this. And also, conversely, I don't want to talk about my exes. Some of the girls I used to date, they would be befuddled by this, that I would not like to talk about my exes. They would be like, why? What? That makes me think you're not over them. That makes me think you're still thinking about them. It's like, no, it's the exact opposite. I don't want to think about them anymore. I want this chapter of my life closed, and I don't want to talk to you about my sex life with other people.
Exactly.
Can we just have our thing? This is uncomfortable.
Well, it's rude to the ex as well. That's between you and the ex. That's a locked away thing. I don't feel the need to shit talk any of my exes.
I mean, there's that too. And of course, you can still vent to your new girlfriend about your ex, but it makes me uncomfortable to talk about sexual matters. Okay, no matter how many times you tell me that it's gonna be fine, I know that you're gonna be mad at me at the end of this conversation. If I point out to you that I'm not a virgin and I've touched a boob before, you're gonna be mad at me. I know women. I know you. You're lying.
This turned into a little bit of a therapy session.
I'm just giving young guys advice. Never ask your current girlfriend about her past exploits, and if she asks you, you should keep your mouth shut. Be a gentleman.
That's one of the most annoying things, Kai, is when a guy asks and they expect nothing. They don't expect the girl to have a past, and then they get angry at her for having a past. I don't get that. Why ask then? Don't ask. You gotta be okay with whatever answer she says.
I mean, now we're getting into such deeper topics. It's whenever incels share those graphs of when a woman has had 0 sexual partners, the marriage is more likely to last, whereas if she's had 10 sexual partners, it's almost bound to fail. It's okay, that may be true, but the average woman isn't going around fucking the football team. Every girl, every boy, they've had 1 or 2 partners before you. It's fine. You need some practice before you find yourself and find the person that you're compatible with. Anyway, in this instance, I don't think, obviously, this guy doesn't look at this girl as somebody he wants to date or cares about, so he just wants to find out how big of a whore he is, and that's why he's asking these questions.
Whore she is?
Yeah. I mean, that's what turns him on, right? He wants to know, oh, how big of a slut is this 13-year-old and what will she do with me? I think that's why he's asking all of these questions, or why they all ask these questions of, have you done gangbangs? Have you taken it up the ass? Have you let a guy come in your mouth? It's like, well, where did we leave off?
So she continues by saying, I don't know. I think it was. And how would she know, first of all? She's got no reference. And then Mutzi replies, did you get him come? Not get him to come, by the way. It just says, did you get him come? Like, did you give him a gift of cum? And she replies, yeah. And then he replies, how was taste? And then she replies, kind of salty some. And then he replies, did you like it? And then she replies, it was fun.
This sounds a little like he is interested. Like, how was it?
Yeah, he wants to taste test this cum.
Yeah, like,
he's like
after thinking about it,
sommelier.
Would you recommend it? How many stars out of 5, Danny?
So then he says, he continues on that line of questioning, and he asks, when did you do that? Like, he wants to know specifics. I think he's thinking about tracking this 18-year-old down, maybe. I don't know. When did you do that? And then she replies, a few months ago. And then he says, why you didn't fuck him? And then she says, I moved. He continues this on. This is like a very long line of questioning. He says, he calls you? She says, nah. And then he says, why? And then she says, it's all good. We broke up. And then Mutzi says, now you want mine.
This almost sounds like accusatory. It's a little hostile. Like, as if he's accusing her of being a gold digger or like a cum digger, I guess. Like,
yeah, he's like, you've only been apart for 2 months and now you want mine?
Yeah, you whore. By the way, how does cum taste? How thick was he? How did it feel in your mouth? How do you think it would feel in my mouth? Lol, ooh, just kidding.
Was it salty?
Was it salty? What was his diet like? Did you feed him pineapples?
Mutzi's... This is probably why Mutzi is so malnourished. He just lives on a cum diet. He only eats cum.
Okay, I guess it's fair if I read the last of this chat log. He continues his quest to come on the webcam. Mutzi says, Yopu want me to come on the cam? Danny says, do you wanna? He goes, if do you want? She says, yeah, sure. And he goes, talk to Nasty, I will come.
What does that mean?
I guess he means talk nasty to me, like talk dirty to me. Give me some dirty talk, like, I want that dick. Come on the camera, big boy. But again, of course, she's pretending to be a child, so he's not getting any of that. Instead, she says...
Plus, there was a note on the Perverted Justice chat log where she's like, the decoy is like, I refuse to like actually talk dirty to these guys to give them exactly what they want. Like,
oh yeah, that's fair.
They don't want to.
I would also not feel comfortable with that. So she says, I don't know what to say. I ain't done much. He goes, okay, tell me I am gonna fuck you. Danny says, you can do that. He goes, it's coming. Are you watching?
He came immediately. As soon as she said, you can do that. She didn't even spell that right.
She goes, he goes, are you watching? She goes, yeah. Musti, I did. Danny, I saw. Musti, okay, cool. This is my dirty talk with my girlfriend, 2Jax, and I go, I'm gonna fuck you. You can. Okay, I'm about to come. Cool. I just came. I saw.
It's so sad. How did
so
you come
romantic,
to that?
So sexy.
How did you come to that?
It's
just like he told her exactly what to say, and she said it in the most unenthusiastic way possible, and he came immediately.
Just the fact that he believes that he's talking to a child is titillating enough, I believe. He doesn't need the dirty talk. Yeah. That's all it takes. I don't think he could have come this fast if this was, again, like a 30-year-old normal woman at the other end. What turns him on is that she is 13 and she's watching him on the camera. Meanwhile, it's probably just a jaded, perverted justice employee. Like, hey, check out this loser, calling over his coworkers, screen recording the whole thing.
They're all laughing at him as he comes sadly on his camera.
Yeah, he thought his dick was big, by the way, guys.
What a fucking loser. So the chat log obviously continues after that, and they set up like a time to meet up, the Sting House and such. They give Musti the address. And then the next day, Mutzi shows up to the sting operation and meets Chris Hansen. Obviously, that's how these shows go. Chris Hansen's there. Mutzi walks in. So this is the video of when Mutzi shows up to the sting operation. He sits down immediately, and Chris Hansen is there. Yep, he's got the exact same getup basically as the picture. He's just not wearing a tank top now. He's wearing like a jumper over a long sleeve shirt. It looks like he still looks like a druggie or someone addicted to some kind of drug substance. Still looks the same. Still looks like Skinny Pete. So Chris Hansen, we'll just listen. Here we go.
So you talk this way to all your friends on the internet?
Yes.
About all these sex acts and in this
Yes,
graphic way?
and everybody talking like that, and they have a web site over there too.
So this is just a game to you?
Yes, it's a just game.
He talks exactly like he writes, so it must be a foreign thing.
Yeah, it's just game. They all have website. I go to website. We play game. The game of who can come on the camera fast.
That's why he was so fast. Yeah, this was a game to him. He was going for the high score. So yeah, Chris Hansen's like, hey, do you do this often? Basically, this is a question that he asks everyone. And Mutzi says, yeah, I do this all the time. I it's a game. I do this with all my friends. We all sit around on the webcams, jacking off.
Family game nights on Thanksgiving. I ask my mom if I can come on the camera. She's like, I guess you can.
Chris, you're invited next time, man. It's more than welcome, Everyone's invited
I'll come
to
on this camera right here. Dateline NBC camera.
Yeah, Chris is lucky because he's hidden cameras. So if this camera was out in the open, it'd be drowned to come at the moment. So yeah, what do you think of his accent and stuff? Where do you think he's from?
I have no idea. Musti? Middle Eastern?
That's what it sounds like. I was thinking like Turkey, maybe. I mean, that's bad for you, obviously. But I was genuinely thinking Turkey. But his accent sounded French to me.
What's his full name? Do we know his full name?
No, I have no. So I was going to get to this after the To Catch a Predator stuff, but I have no details on like him. I don't know. I couldn't find any. I scoured the internet, the To Catch a Predator forums and stuff, like the TCAP community. No one's got any details on him as far as I could see. I even went through every single comment on the YouTube channels, hoping someone had left a comment about him or something like that. Nothing. So I don't have anything to go off other than Mutzi, which might not even be his real name because it's just the name he gives in the chat log, which is a shame because it is he got the least amount of backlash. Basically, he's got no connection to his real identity. He could be back in like Turkey or France or wherever he's from, some European country. He does say he's from Europe in the chat log. So he could be back over there for all we know. We don't know where he is or anything about him.
Well, luckily that problem will be solved soon when law enforcement gets involved with To Catch a Predator, and we're gonna get all of their mugshots and their criminal records officially written down.
It's such a shame that didn't happen for this one. It hurts. It makes it so bittersweet that knowing that these guys just got to leave and just live their lives,
Yeah. Anyway, he's sitting there in his turtleneck, and Chris Hansen in his iconic pose of his arm resting on his hip, almost like a pregnant lady. He's like looking exasperated, like he's about to chastise a child. What are you doing, kiddo? But of course, this man is like 26.
One thing I did notice in these clips is that Chris Hansen came across as way more upset and angry against Mutzi specifically. Like in the other ones, I didn't get nearly as much aggression from Chris in his pose and his stance and his like how he looked towards Mutzi. So this one hurt Chris the most, I think, out of this first Bethpage Long Island.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, in the later seasons, he also looks like he just doesn't care anymore. He just walks out there and plays a character, puts on the war paint, and limps out into the field for one last Hail Mary glory time.
Yeah, do you think he was more passionate about the actual stings at this point?
Oh, definitely. I think by the time he definitely started getting bored of it by the latter seasons, and then nowadays, obviously, he definitely looks like he just resents being typecast as the pedo catcher.
Yeah,
because that's all people know him as. And remember, like Chris Hansen tried to be an actual journalist, reporting on other stuff. And
He was an actual journalist.
No one cares.
No, he was actually a pretty good journalist before To Catch a Predator. All things considered, he had done pretty good journalistic work at that point.
Yeah, and no one will ever know about it.
Yeah, so that does have to suck that this is your legacy. So I kind of get that. Yeah, but he definitely he's got kids, so I can imagine at this time they were kids. So I can definitely imagine that this was something passionate to him at that time. He definitely would have felt some kind of vitriol towards them. I mean, they're pedophiles. Of course he does.
Well, yeah, there's some intrinsic repulsion everybody feels against these people.
Yeah. So we continue on the next clip. I only was able to pull 2 clips because he wasn't on this show much. But Mutzi talks about how he plays games, because we've already established that Mutzi is a bit of a gamer. He likes to play games, obviously. So yeah, we talk more about this. So we're going to play this clip now.
Now, it sounds like you exposed yourself on a webcam.
But I'm telling you,
Did you or did you not?
I have a webcam too, and the other people have a webcam too, and we're playing.
You're playing?
We see each other and we're playing.
Yeah. What game were you playing on the webcam?
It's up to you. I don't know.
Up to you, I don't know.
You make up the game, Chris. Come on. I'm just here to play it.
You say blackjack, I say come on camera. You say Fall Guys, I say come on camera. You say Fortnite, I say come on camera.
Yeah, why even give Chris the option, Mutzi? We know what games you play. So when he says playing a game, what do you think he meant? What's his defense here?
Oh, the classic, it's just all fun and games. It's not serious. I wasn't seriously trying to fuck your daughter. It's just, haha, just kidding, just fun and jokes.
As long as I come with a smile on my face, it's okay, basically.
This reminds me, do you remember that, was it Polygon or Kotaku? One of their writers, like, hooked up their vibration controller or one of their dildo up to Fall Guys and shoved it up his ass. And then he started playing online, and every time another player would grab him, it would vibrate the dildo in his ass. And they wrote an entire article about this. And everybody was like, what the fuck? Like, children play that. So every time a child playing somewhere on Earth was grabbing you, would vibrate in your ass. And they were like, oh, it's just for fun. That's what this reminds me of.
That's so gross. Yes. So he believes it's a game, which doesn't explain why he showed up. I guess he was trying to bring the game into the real life dimension, the 4D experience. So yeah, that's the end of Mutzi's tale, essentially. After that clip, he gets to get up and leave, and he gets to continue playing games.
Mutzi since until he became Skinny Pete, apparently, and developed a meth habit.
What if it was actually him? Because Breaking Bad was shot after this, right? This was 2003. Breaking Bad was like what, 2005?
I think so.
Wow.
Wait,
so did they model Skinny Pete off this guy, or vice versa?
I really doubt it. I mean, like I said, Skinny Pete in the TV show was a nice person, and apparently it started in 2008. Probably not. I mean, that guy plays like wiry-looking skinny characters in every show.
But it's the outfit too. He looks exactly the same in terms of outfit.
He does, I know.
It's so unfortunate and weird. I guess that might just be the style at the time, maybe, for skinny meth heads. I'm not sure.
I wonder if this guy can even afford meth. I don't know. He just seems like a weird carpenter who developed the habit of going online and playing games, quote unquote, with little children.
Yeah.
Maybe he does it to this day. Maybe he's on Discord right now in a call with a child coming on a camera.
So we're at the end of this episode now, obviously. Let's ask some final questions. What do you think? Do you think that he was worse than Suspicious Steve from last week?
No, because I mean, I feel like they're equal. I mean, the last guy was creepy too. Wasn't he asking about how do you shave your pussy and how many guys have you blown and do you take it up the ass or whatever the hell? So it's about the equal.
I think that I was going to say the same. I think they're practically, basically the same. I think they're right on the same tier level. They're the same. So yeah, I don't think one's worse than the other at this point. I think they both deserve a 4.65 on the sliminess rating. Both despicable human beings. It is nice that we know more about Steve, though, I guess. That's something.
That's true. We had more information on Steve. Though I do wonder What was his original sliminess rating? Steve's, I mean. Oh, man.
I remember it being 4.65, but I don't know. If you know anything about any of these guys, if you're like Musti's like neighbor or something, or you've seen him around, let us know in the comments or reach out to us or something, because I am curious about if there's any information on them that we don't divulge.
And
obviously don't dox them publicly or anything.
I found the PDF. You're correct. Steve Reddington also received a sliminess rating of 4.65. So
exactly the
Justice
same.
Agrees. Yeah, they're about the same.
The community agrees. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for this episode. Do you have anything else that you want to say?
No. Tell us what you think our name should be. I guess help us, please, so then we can push the responsibility for it onto you guys.
Yeah. If people make fun of us for the name, then it's your fault.
Yeah.
We'll just sit here all smug for the rest of this series, being like, they chose the name. This is why we're not popular. This is why the show sucks. Thank you. Feel free.
Give us 5 stars.
Well, yeah, that. But also, like, maybe wait a bit before you recommend the show to someone. And to, like, when we get the name right, then recommend the show to someone. Maybe next week. We'll see. We got a Patreon though. Patreon.com/theofficialpodcast. So you can head over there. A lot of bonus content over on the Patreon now. It's very good value for the $5. You get bonus episodes of the official podcast. You got early access to both our shows now. So really, it's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Head over there.
Talk about weirdos, pedophiles, and Kanye.
Yeah, we've also got a poll running on the Patreon at the moment for the name, but we might do another one with more suggestions. So keep an eye over there on Patreon. Patreon.com/theofficialpodcast. That's it for this episode of whatever the name is. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
See you guys.